color me impressed. Listen to this.
Hold on a minute, let me show you the limit of our love when we're in it. Oh my, there's nothing here, not even the sky can prevent it. Oh no, as long as we stand to wear it over the obstacles and trials that may come our way. Now hold on a minute, let me show you the limit of our love when we're in it. Oh my, there's nothing here, not even the sky can prevent it. Oh no, as long as we stand to wear it.
Vocoflex from Dream Tonics. Let's take a look. Real-time voice replacer. That is very interesting. So you could, with this program, import your own voice, import other voices, create voices from scratch, blend all of these voices to create a new voice. You can also sing through this in real time without a DAW, or you can use it in your DAW as a plugin. One of the other benefits that you get with Vocoflex is that it is automatable. So you can switch between different voices using MIDI controllers or even a shortcut on your keyboard. The process for importing voices is very simple. You click this button here, it opens up a browser. You import your voice, it analyzes it, and then it spits out a voice. It's best to use anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. Don't do like I did and did not read that part. I imported my voice for almost 2-3 minutes, and it was not the greatest usage of it because it had a lot of processing on it. It was a lot of mic bleed, things of that nature. So a short voice to import will get that voice into the system. So let's look at the controls here. On the left, this is the pre-gain. So this is how much you're pushing into the plugin. Right down at the bottom, this is the tuning area. So if you click this, you can tune, not auto tune. We're talking about just changing the key that you're singing in, right? Click this is how you activate that area. And this also gives you a warning sign to let you know whether or not the input is matched up with the voice you have selected. It is important that the pitch range, let's say it like that, matches to get the best quality as far as sounding natural. It will let you know, and there's some other areas that you'll see later that show you what the ranges are for that voice. Over here to the right, this is where you do the automation and linking to either a MIDI controller or a shortcut. And this button here adds different points for you to put on the playing field here that you then can switch either with your keyboard or with your MIDI keyboard, right? So you go in here. Right now it's defaulting to numbers. So if I hit the number 1 key, it'll move there. If I hit the number 2 key, it goes there. But you can also use a MIDI keyboard. For example, I have a XY pad on my synth that I can assign to the X and the Y values, and then simply with the screen, move my finger around and record that as automation. So if I add a third point here, it now allows you to change the order. 1, 2, 3. So that's where you assign the automation. Now, there's a caveat I want to, because I've been doing this all day messing with this plugin. Be careful. Anywhere you click, it's going to move to that spot. Just click outside of your plugin here and it won't move. At the top is where you do some of the real-time options here. So if you click this button, of course, it uses a little bit more CPU, and you have the option to choose between the highest quality all the way to the lowest latency, right? And of course, next to this are various options where you can change the language, tooltips, look for updates, shows you which MIDI control device, right? various things that you can do in here to help out with the plugin. And then finally, this is where you manage your presets. So far I have 3 presets that I have created. One is the Sunny Velvet preset, which is the imported audio that I put in that I need to redo. Sassy Sue is my first successful voice that you heard in the intro that I used a number of voices to put together. And then Mary is one that we use to demonstrate creating voices. And then we have a number of voices that the plugin comes with, right? So you can choose between any of these voices or use a number of them together and then blend it to get just exactly what you're looking for. And that's it. That's the controls. Very simple. So it's not heavy on features, but its usage is amazing. All right. And in its simplicity, it's pretty wild, right? To take a voice and replace it with another voice. At the end of the day, you can leave it at its default position if you fed it the right pitch, right? A good quality signal, whether that's live or an actual imported sample. And it's very useful in that way. So let's take a look at how we finagle some of these controls here, right? Let me solo out so you can hear without all of the extra stuff in the background what this sounds like. And I'll do again, embarrassingly, I will play it first without Vocoflex, and then I'll bring in Vocoflex so you can hear it changing. Now hold on a minute. Let me show you the limit
of our love when we're in it. Oh, love is knocking. Not even the sky can prevent it. As long as we stand to will it. Over the obstacles and trials that may.
So if you look at the main area here, you can see there's quite a number of things going on. Of course, we have the main control here, which you use to swap or change the timbre, I believe the word is. But you'll notice that it has lines coming from that control from these various different voices that are in here. We have 3 different voices that we blended in, right? And this is where the power of this comes in, because you get a piece from each one of them, right? So anything that's in the shadows, right? Any of the points that are in the shadows, or anything that's in the shadows, let's say it like that. So if I was to move this around, now all of those things from the bright female J-pop, all of these lines that are pointing backwards are being even further removed from our created voice here. And the ones that are pointing towards the control is further enhanced. You can go a little bit more with how this works, right? We'll put her back up here. And if you see where each voice has this line going across with a smaller line, that is the vocal range. So the wider area or the grayer line represents the entire range of the human voice, from my understanding. And then the colored area represents the range for that voice. So if you're singing a voice, your input voice, if you're a bass, for example, then you're down here. And if you try to put this on top of your range, it's going to sound unnatural because it's out of that range. So you want to make sure that you're matching up whatever or however you're singing. In this case, I'm a little bit more closer to these ranges because I'm singing in falsetto. So most of the notes sound nice and natural, but there are some occasions, and I'll show you.
Love, hold on a minute.
Right there. So when it gets too low, those numbers show up and it's showing you how many notes out of range that the input signal is feeding it. And it will sound less natural when you're in that range. And it's just the same as if you're going up, if that makes sense. So
love, hold on
with music, And for the purposes of demoing songs to potential clients, this is perfect. All right. So let me put the harmonies back in here so you can hear those as well as the lead fork. That's what that little hole in the lead is.
Now hold on a minute. Let me show you the limit.
Now, it really showed out here, even though I think this is out of its range. These first two parts.
Let me show you the limit.
I like how that sounds.
Let me show you the limit.
Out of the range, but it sounds good when everything is playing. Even by itself, I think it sounds pretty decent.
La, 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 la. Go.
Man, when I did these two parts here, this, that set me on a whole different, I was like, okay, I had to get my head around it. It's not creating these words or these sayings. It's just replacing the tone, the voice itself. So there's a number of things that you want to make sure that you're doing. If the record is supposed to be emotional, don't just record something with the words just flat, right? You want to record something with the emotion that you intend the artist to sing with. Imitate how you would do that. Act it out, and the software will comply. Now, there is one other example that kind of blew my mind as well. Chill male rap, right? So it does that too. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me. Right. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me.
1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me.
Wow, that's crazy. And then of course you can take that and add some more voices to it.
1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me.
That sounds like a R&B singer trying to do rap. The intonation and the inflections, if I play it by itself, is a little bit more grimy sounding, right?
1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me. 1 time 1 2, 2 time 1 3. You ain't ready for that, and they ain't ready for me.
So you can take, as you can see, a voice from somewhere else and use it as a voice for whatever signal you're feeding it. All right, so now I want to demonstrate that you can create voices from scratch. So I'm going to click here. Now, there are a number of things here. So we have the tone, right? That's the up and down axis. And then we have masculine and feminine, which is the left to right axis. Right? We also have a random button down here, which just gives you random voices, and these are based off of essentially hex code that represents a color. I use this when I'm doing graphic work, but these numbers here will change based off the color that you have selected. And what this is basically representing is just different voices that are programmed into these hex codes. So I'm gonna mute everything except the lead here, and we're just gonna see what we can pull out of this. And again, remember, the pitch range is very important for what you're selecting.
Now hold on a minute. Let me show you the limit of our love.
All right, so we'll grab that one. That's kind of similar to what we had already. Right?
Not even the sky.
Now this is just the color here.
As long as
if we add another one down here, let's grab a different tone or different voice. All right, so we'll put that one.
Let me show you the limit.
Pick out there, see what else.
Love when we're in it. Oh, there's nothing. Not even
All
the
right, we'll grab that one.
can
So now we have
prevent
these 3
it,
points,
as long as we
and we can blend
stand
between
to
these 3
will it.
points.
Over the obstacles and trials that may come our way. Now hold on a minute, let me show you the limit of our love when we're in it. Oh, but there's nothing, not even the sky can prevent it, as long as we stand to will it.
All right, that's a little more different than the other one. So we're going to call this one Mary. All right. So if I clear the board, let me show you. Add Sassy Sue.
For love when we're in it. Oh, my, there's nothing, not even the sky.
I like her up here,
can
actually.
prevent it, as long as we stand to will it.
That's that one.
The obstacles.
And then here's Mary.
That may come our
So it's a little
way.
different. So that's creating voices from scratch. Now, I have found that using the voices that are in here, which of course are created by the developer, is probably the best way to create new voices, right? So I'm going to stick with the female stuff here only because of the range, right? So we got soothing female blues. I'm going to add another one. And unless you hit this arrow here, it will continue to add voices onto the main area. Anime female. Okay, we'll try that. And I'm going to put one more that I haven't used yet. Vibrant, girly J-pop, no. Warm, youthful tenor. Sweet, dreamy alto. Okay, let's see what this sounds like.
Now hold on
Not too
a
different.
minute. Let me show you the limit of our love when we're in it. Oh, my, there's nothing, not even the sky can prevent it, as long as we stand to will
So
it.
right now it
Over
seems
the
like this area, this range, and it's similar to Sassy Sue, is the right pitch and the right combination of input that sounds the best here. That's it for my review of Vocoflex. However, they did send me a copy of Synth V. That is a songwriter's paradise. And there is a workflow to use Vocoflex with Synth V that we'll cover on the Synthesizer V video. If you're interested in Vocoflex or Synthesizer V, check the description for the link outside of that.